Hello.
Hello. So today we're gonna debate veganism with Volound. I hope I
Volound,
pronounced it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And this is something that came about under one comment section under one of Mr. Pink and Yellow's videos. And first, I want to ask something about the comments you made under that video, because I want to mainly focus on some of the stuff that you said there. So
Okay.
you said that basically you have been vegan for 8 years or something, right?
Yeah. February 2017, so that's 8 years now. Pretty much exactly 8 years, yeah.
Okay, but why did you feel that you would have to sort of bring this up?
Because someone made claims, I think it was on the video, that you can't live as a vegan, but I'm an example of having done it for an extended period of time, long after,
Yeah.
for example, the B12 or my liver's been totally depleted from any of the animal products I had. So
Yeah.
that's the most immediate threat to life and longevity as a vegan. If you don't have any B12, you can die
Wait,
from it.
wait.
To death.
So first of all, 8 years is not a whole life cycle of a human being. Don't you agree? So, I mean, can you name me one vegan and has been vegan for all life stages? Like from conception
there's
until
actually,
graveyard?
I can link it to you right now. There's actually an NHS. You know about the NHS, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's an NHS article that talks about veganism, and it describes it as being suitable for all stages of life, including infancy.
That is not answering my question, actually. And NHS, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't say that unless that was true. So this
No,
answers your question,
no, not necessarily. Just because the NHS says something doesn't mean it's true. That's an
What's the
argument
stage
from
of life that
authority.
they're wrong about? What's the stage of life that they don't have that right about then? Well, when do you have to start eating meat again? At what age?
You don't understand my question, apparently, so let me repeat it. Can you name me one vegan that has been vegan throughout all stages of life?
Yeah,
Like one individual.
all the people that have been born as vegans and remain as vegans to this day. Yeah.
What? So you cannot name actually one example then, because you're just making.
I've already mentioned the Adventist Health studies, where they're basically running a mass experiment on this exact thing, and they have better outcomes. They're one of the blue zones very conspicuously. You know what a blue zone is, don't you?
Okay, before we get into that,
That's an entire population of people that meet your request.
Actually,
for better
not.
or worse.
First of all, the Adventist Health people are not all vegan, and they actually, many of them are not even vegetarian.
As a population, they pretty much opt out of animal products. Like, there's only some of them that even consume any, and when they do, it's usually dairy and some eggs. That's it.
Yeah, that is still not vegan. Vegan is 100% going off animal products.
You're not even using the right word here. Vegan is an ethical position. You're talking about plant-based. So you can be a plant-based eater and have leather, for example, and you wouldn't be a vegan.
Okay, we're mainly talking about, when I say vegan, I mean 100% plant-based diet.
Yeah,
okay?
dietary.
So don't get into this hair-splitting nonsense, right? But anyway,
well, that's what we're talking about here. You brought up whether it was an actual ethical position or whether it was a diet thing. I was clarifying that for you. I was just responding to what you said.
Whatever. I don't give a shit about that, to be honest. I care about the actual.
Right, back to the topic then, yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't want to get sidetracked. We're talking about what they eat.
Yeah, and you pretty much have failed to name any examples, because
there's a whole population there. They're basically just opting out of animal products, man. I don't know what more I can tell you.
No, actually not. And can you actually prove that they have been conceived as vegans? That meaning their parents are all 100% plant-based? Can you actually prove that?
Well, a lot of these studies are voluntary and they're done on that basis, so it's kind of hard to prove that. Even in really well-controlled studies where people are insisted on bringing in their supplements and stuff, it's still hard to
You said something interesting here. So you said that very well controlled, and then
there's so many variables.
Yeah, exactly. There's no control actually in any of these studies, because
They have attempts at control. They have good methodology. Some studies are better than other ones. That's why I like to look at systemic reviews and meta-analyses as opposed to just individual studies.
Can you stick to one topic, because you bring up so much stuff at once, right?
I'm just responding to what you're saying, man. I can just be quiet for a minute if you want. You can just ask me something again.
Yeah, okay. So again, an actually controlled intervention study where people are locked in labs throughout their whole lives doesn't exist in human nutrition. Yeah, exactly.
We have to make the best of what we've got. That doesn't mean we
that is not.
And just say we can't do anything.
That is not. Excuse me. That is not good enough for causal inference. I'm sorry.
What are you going to do then? Just give up and say whatever we do goes. Just fuck it. Just forget about even trying to learn anything. You're not going to do that. Come on.
I'm not saying that we can't learn anything.
We can't just throw out all of medical science because it has problems. Come on. Why are you saying this?
I'm not saying that. You're strawmanning me, right?
Well, I don't understand why you're saying this. It's like you're nuking the methodology or the basis of all evidence-based medicine. I don't know why you would do that.
Again, you're fucking strawmanning me, and that is really annoying.
I don't know. I'm asking why you're doing it. I'm waiting.
I'm pointing out the limitations.
I've already volunteered the limitations. That's why we got into this.
Right. So what? So
like, where's this going?
Yeah, I'm saying that we don't actually know what these people have eaten. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to health outcomes, we need to be careful what we're actually claiming, right?
We don't know what they've eaten. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
problem.
We can certainly know to an extent what they're eating. We can get a pretty good idea, man. We're not totally anonymous. There's not an impenetrable wall, a barrier, and we can't know. Like, we can make intuitions. We can.
Yeah, intuitions are shitty evidence. I'm sorry, but anyway,
that's all it is. Then you're just saying forget all the evidence. I can't use evidence then. So why are we here?
We can use evidence. Again, you're strawmanning. You're saying just because I pointed out limitations doesn't mean we have to throw out all the.
Can I submit evidence? Will you care if I submit evidence?
Let's actually get into a blue zones thing. Right, you said blue zone.
I don't know, man. See, if we don't have a common appreciation of how you gather evidence, epistemology, coming to conclusions, like, what's the point even continuing? Like, and it seems like you're saying we have to just throw out all of the evidence in the literature. Why would you do that?
No. Jesus fucking Christ! You're repeating yourself, and I'm saying that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have to look at this carefully, and not. Jump to conclusions that would basically say, look, here is a population that seems to be eating this and that, and therefore this is healthy. We have to be careful because there are other confounding factors that could influence these health outcomes, right?
Yeah. And they put those under disclaimers for the study. They explain the methodology, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that this methodology is limited. It is limited.
Though, like, the reason we got here and we're talking about this is that 7 Days made a video that maybe you agree with, and it has extremely sweeping statements about veganism leading to frailty, death, demise, failing to thrive, all that stuff. Isn't that an example of, really sweeping, fucking stark statements?
Listen. 7 Days made his video, right? And it is 9 minutes long, and it's just him giving his opinions on veganism, which I pretty much agree with. But it wasn't like a super going into details, going into the studies kind of video. It was just him giving his opinion, okay? Which is totally fine to do, right? But anyway, so you made a bunch of claims under his video, and I want to ask you some questions about them, right? So again, the thing about you bringing up that you have been eating vegan for 8 years, right? 0 animal products for 8 years. Well, again, that is just an anecdote. I could give counter anecdotes of ex-vegans that have been that are reporting that they have been suffering in connection to this diet, right? So that is, I'm just asking, why in general do vegans think that this is worth bringing up? Oh, I've been vegan for 10 years, I've been vegan for 20 years, I've been vegan for 8 years. Yeah, there have also been smokers for 8 years. That doesn't mean that smoking is healthy, right? So, again, show me one individual vegan that has been vegan for all stages of life. And I have asked this question for many, for much time, and I never get any answers outside of some vague, nebulous nonsense, right? If there was such a vegan, we would know, right? There would be an article about it. There is none.
Have you heard of the Adventist heart doctor that advocates for a plant-based diet that lived to like 95 or 100 or something? I think his name is Esselstyn.
Oh my god. Yeah, I heard about him, but guess what? I mean, okay, first of all, has he been born vegan?
I don't know, but he's 91, man, and he's a vegan.
How,
I don't
how,
know. It's like
how,
you're saying
how-
that I can't submit myself as evidence, but I have to submit someone else as evidence. So what happens if they're the one sitting in this chair?
No, here's why I'm asking that question, right? Because vegans cannot even meet that minimum bar of evidence. They cannot even, because, yeah, it is cool that there are some vegans that have been vegan for 10 years or so, right? But we have...
I think I just did it, man. Caldwell Esselstyn. I'm looking at it right now. Isn't this him?
Yeah, and again,
what's the long diet that reverses heart disease and atherosclerosis? Do you know what it is? The leading cause of death in the West. Can you name what the diet is?
Can you stick to one topic at a time, please? Jesus fucking Christ, man.
We're still on it. That's what this guy does. He's a heart doctor that's a plant-based eater, and he's an Adventist, I think, and he has been for his whole life.
What does his whole life mean?
Since he was born. Maybe his parents were a plant-based diet advocate as well. That's quite common in these religious...
Wait, didn't you say that you don't know whether or not he was born a vegan, and now you're saying he was?
Well, you can't be born a vegan, you know, you're born a tabula rasa rock, like, what the hell?
What? I mean, if...
Blank slate, like, no one's born on anything.
No, I mean, set a diet, a specific diet, right? Not like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, you get, we talked about this with weaning, unless my comments are deleted. You fucking get breastfed, and then you switch to food around you, and you eat what you're given. And if he's in a religious cult, basically, that advocates plant-based eating and exercise and all this stuff, no smoking, then stands to reason he's going to just fall right in.
Okay, so you said exercise and smoking, so...
Yeah.
A cool story. So you said that reverses heart disease. Yeah, how can you know it was the vegan diet then, or the vegetarian diet, that reversed that when there was exercise and smoking at the same time being these variables?
Because they prescribed it to his clients and they did a study on it and it worked. They noticed that the calcification of the arteries had reversed while they were doing those experiments.
My question is, how do you know it was the diet that did that? Why, like,
you look at the methodology and see how well it was done. It isolates.
It wasn't well done. It wasn't well done because it wasn't controlled. You cannot prescribe to the treatment group that they should also smoke less and have this exercise program and take this and that treatment and medication simultaneously while you're looking at whether or not the vegan diet reverses heart disease. Right?
Well, you know, there have been studies on that do actually control for diet, and it found that even sedentary vegans that are just lazy have better health outcomes long term than fitness-obsessed carnists.
Cool.
This is one of these things that Michael Greger has been talking about, you know, in TED Talks and stuff like that.
That's a cool story.
So I don't know, it's not a cool story. Like you just basically challenged me to present something. I presented it. Where do we go from here? If you just say cool story, is this how it's going to just be the whole night? Because it's just kind of a waste of time.
I want to jump in for a bit because I want to ask him some questions.
Wait.
Okay.
No. Questions later, please, because this is
okay. All right, I'm going to mute myself again. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay.
Volound, before you go, I just want to ask you some questions after you do the debate, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, okay.
So, okay, what is this?
The carotid arteries of those eating plant-based diets appear healthier than even those just as slim, long-distance endurance athletes who've run an average of 50,000 miles.
Uh,
I thought
So-
you're aware of this stuff. Like, I think this is, done the rounds.
So
Or you
what's
haven't
this?
made no
Wait.
Come on, I'm just asking a question. You don't need to just scream over me.
Yeah, let me ask a question. What's this a controlled experiment? This what is this here?
If it was, what would you care?
Well, I'm asking whether or not it was.
We can look at it together, or do you want to do that? We can just go through it.
Okay.
All right.
So you have to share your screen, I guess.
I need to get this study because this is just providing
Okay.
sources.
Yeah, and after that, I want to get into the blue zone thing because this is also nonsense, right?
I'm gonna get the exact study for you, and then we can go through it if you just want to be patient for a minute.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, I just want to say never really intended this to be a reference swapping kind of debate because this has to be actually pre-planned, so I can look at the source beforehand, right?
I haven't looked at these things either most of the time. Like, I just know they exist. Like, I've heard of them. I've seen them, linked in Discord.
Wait. So how can you make claims without looking at the evidence then?
Because I've
Because
the context that they're being submitted. The people that talk about this stuff know about all these things like methodology and they
yeah, but like when I make claims on certain things, I read the study beforehand.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot of studies like the one I'm talking about right now. I haven't looked at that one exactly, but there's a lot of there's been meta-analyses done. Like that would probably meet the burden that you're asking for right now.
Probably not, but yeah.
Right.
And listen, when you make any causal claims like this diet reverses heart disease or something like that, you don't know what kind of burden of proof is actually on your shoulders when you make that claim, right? This is a very specific claim. This is a cause and effect claim. A causes B, right? So if there are lurking variables, right?
Well, I can even explain the mechanism that makes it totally sensible and plausible.
Yeah, that is mechanistic speculation, right? I can also make up mechanisms.
I've for the past 8 years, I've opted out of saturated fat. A lot of it. Not that much saturated fat in plants, like there really isn't. There's zero cholesterol in plants. I've totally opted out of that for 8 years now. So any cholesterol in my body is going to be endogenously synthesized. So,
Okay,
so
cool.
when we find these things in arteries, we know where they came from.
Okay, you just want to jump from topic to topic because I'm not even like prepared to talk about like
you challenged me again. I
cholesterol.
responded. I don't know what you want. I can just not say anything. When you challenge me on something.
No, pull up the study you want to pull up. I don't know, man. I mainly want to talk about some stuff you said in the comment section, right? But okay. But yeah, so you talked about the blue zones also, right? Did you know that, for example, in Okinawa, one of the so-called blue zones, Okinawa, Japan. Apparently, they eat a lot of pork there, right? So how does this fit into your blue zones example?
I don't know. I think they're on an island. I don't know how they would get much pork. Are you saying they've started importing pork recently, and that's why that's happened? Because I don't think they had much access to pork for centuries.
No, it's actually a very traditional type
What's
of
it
food
called?
there.
Because it's an island, isn't it? Okinawa, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Okinawa,
Pork.
Japan.
I think it's less than the mainland. Surely it's less than most of the world in terms of pork.
No, they actually eat quite significant amounts of pork.
How much?
And
what percent compared to average in Japan, say? Like, if you said I have to know these things, like, so how much? Well, that's a claim. I want to know how much. How do you know that?
okay, let me look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Sorry, in case you missed the message, for this to show up in the video, all links that you post, you're going to have to screen share them, right? Because the chat is not showing up. Just to let you know. You want people watching the video to see it. All right, I'm muting myself again.
All right. I found a link to the article, by the way, but I'm trying to find the full one. It's hard because it's just the abstract there.
Yeah, I mean, they do seem to eat a little bit less, or they seem to eat less pork than the average Japanese, but so what?
How much
That's
less? I want to see the numbers.
I mean, there are different numbers here, right?
Can you Gyazo it and screenshot it or something?
Wait a second. Again, I want to clarify, this is not a planned debate here, right? So nothing is... So the
No prep. I've just brought my memory to this.
Right, this is Okinawa Island Guide. Wait a second.
Well, I could even just start Googling for this along with you right now.
Right, but look, even if they eat substantially less than the average Japanese,
That's
this is still not... What?
That's what I was convinced of until now. So, if that's not true, I want to know. I'm curious.
Yeah, seems like 3 grams or something. Or wait a second.
Come on, man! You haven't posted anything yet.
Yeah, I'm looking for it because this is all...
You don't sound enthused about sharing it for some reason. I thought you found something, right? You just don't want to show it.
Yeah, I have to actually look whether or not it's legit or not, right? Yeah, why are you laughing? I could like cite any source. Just because you have a source doesn't mean it's legit, right? But my point is, this is not a vegan diet, right? A vegan diet is 100%.
Holy shit. Annual average consumption of luncheon meat per person in the prefecture is about 14 cans, 340 grams per can per year. So that is about 4.5 kilograms per year. So that is about 15 grams per day.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to jump in because I have to explain something, and this has been bugging me. Okay. The stuff you eat from meats, you store long term, right? And you should have brought this up, Shield. So lasting 8 years doesn't mean anything. You can still have the nutrients stored. And people eating 240 grams doesn't prove anything, because that still might be enough for them to store long-term store the nutrients and vitamins. Right? Yeah, that's why you have to have a complete absence. Okay? I'm just explaining that. This is a very basic thing that Shield failed to explain. He's failing to anchor down to points. Okay, I'm just saying, the body stores what you eat from meat long term, and it can last a long time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
So you're saying they shouldn't eat much, and they don't need to eat it a lot? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not making a value judgment whether they should or not. I'm saying, I'm just explaining things. I'm just saying you don't have to necessarily eat a lot to store enough nutrition from meat to thrive or survive. Your body stores the nutrients long term. All right, I'm going to mute you now.
You don't need to store any. There's vegans that have been vegans for decades that haven't fucking got anything stored after all that time, and they're doing fine. I'm on 8 years, which is basically long enough to say that there's basically no meat molecules left on my body at this point, for fuck's sake.
So again, when we talk about lifelong vegans, right? I have not seen any evidence that there is one, and the nutrient depletion can take a long time, varying on the individual, right? What 7 Days said was spot on. There's a lot of unique nutrients in meats, right? That even if you get it in small quantities, you actually absorb it better because of better bioavailability. But anyway, what have you got here?
I don't even think this is true, by the way, because people that eat meat and do it casually are deficient as much as vegans or more than them, and all of these essential nutrients you're talking about. B12 is the most conspicuous one. Holy shit.
Well, wait. Before we get into that claim, what have you posted here? Vegetarian dietary practice and endurance performance. So this is vegetarian. This is not vegan. So that's dishonest already.
What do you mean dishonest?
Yeah, we're talking about vegans. We're not talking about vegetarians.
Stop. There's a very basic point you're missing again, Shield. You're going to have to explain. I'm sorry, I can't control myself. A vegetarian diet has eggs, and eggs is one of the most nutritionally dense foods you can actually eat. Okay,
that's what I was about to say, actually. Yeah. That's what I was about to say, actually. Because vegetarian contains eggs, it contains milk or dairy products, it can contain sometimes fish even, right? So this is dishonest.
It's not dishonest. They'll be insulting and ridiculous. They opt out of a lot of animal products, and the corresponding effect that has on their health, their longevity.
We already covered this. That there's no cause and effect evidence that you can provide here, right?
All right, I'll just not bother trying then if I can't do it. I can't do it, so I don't need to try. So I've just wasted my time.
No, you can still make inferences.
You should have told me I wasted my time at the start. I wouldn't have bothered.
No, you can actually make inferences, but we have to be careful about the way we interpret these kinds of things, right? We can't say
being careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouting dishonest before even elaborating on anything that's a problem.
I have elaborated. I explained why it's
dishonest. You're not being careful at all. You're just immediately, reverting to dishonest as soon as you see anything you can jump on. Like, you're the one that's being dishonest. You're just trying to throw things out before you've even looked at them. Give me a fucking break with this, man.
I'm going to jump in again. Shield, stop accusing him of being dishonest for the sake of the debate. Okay?
Yeah, what
call it mistaken instead. Say you're mistaken or incorrect. Don't call him dishonest. You're going to have a debate.
I've tried to find it for you, and I'm getting called dishonest. Great. Appreciate it. You're welcome.
Okay. Right, so let's just call it mistaken. So, anyway, when we talk about whether or not the vegan diet is healthy or feasible, and then you talk about the vegetarian diet or post something about the vegetarian diet, this is not relevant, is what I'm saying.
So people are going to, like, they're almost on the way to emulating what veganism is, and it's just not useful. You don't see any use in that. Like, you don't see a spectrum that goes from Western pattern diet, heavy red meat, heavy saturated fat, to plant-based, whole foods, vegan on the other sides. And
the Western diet is actually 70% plant-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pitting up one plant-based diet against another plant-based diet. So
and then we have the fucking weird carnivore people that just eat nothing but raw fucking eggs and raw milk and all this crap as well. And we can look at them.
Yeah.
come out over
Yeah,
the next few years.
except those people actually report very good health outcomes.
Oh, they have good health outcomes, really?
They seem to have those health outcomes. Yeah.
So they're not having heart attacks at the age of 30 and 40 all over the place?
Well, if they have, can you provide evidence that this is so?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, can you say that the carnivore diet caused that as well? Can you also point out that kind of evidence? I'm just asking.
Well, there you go. There was just one from Google immediately. Red and processed meat linked to increased risk of heart disease, Oxford. You don't
Okay.
care? You just not care already?
Okay, no, okay, can I jump in? Please. Oh,
No,
'cause I know.
I was about to respond to that. Let me have my own debate. Okay. So I asked you about evidence that the carnivore or that people on the carnivore diet are dropping that of heart disease, and you linked me to some Oxford article that is about something else.
Can I read the subtext under the title?
Yeah, you can do that, but it's not answering my question actually.
Largest review of all large-scale studies to date finds red and processed meat increase their risk of heart disease.
Yes. I don't give a shit. You're not.
He already doesn't care, lads. We can just pack it up. He doesn't care.
Okay, I want to jump in.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. That is the problem. That is the problem at hand. No,
okay, I want to jump in. Let me take over. Just let me take over. So first of all, I spotted a flaw in that study right away. Okay, it's red and processed meats. Processed meats are not the same as red meats. Processed meats are more unhealthy than unprocessed meats. So you're mixing two things in there together. That's a flaw right away. And correlation is not causation. For example, let me give you an example. There's studies about bacon causing cancer. Right.
Largest review.
Okay, no, please, no, I'm making a point. Yeah, okay, I'm making a point. Please let me finish.
As good as it gets. This is the.
I'm talking about. Okay, it's not as good as it gets. I've already pointed out a flaw in that study. Mixing in two types of different meats, processed and unprocessed. Right. Correlation is not causation. There's studies citing that bacon causes cancer, and they're flawed because people who eat bacon are more likely to have other unhealthy habits like smoking. Right. Correlation and causation is a very important concept in these sorts of talks, right? Because proving things
in the large-scale studies to date finds it increases the risk of heart disease. They've obviously controlled for these other variables.
Have they? There's plenty of false studies out there. There's plenty of false studies and junk studies out there. There's a book by Ben Goldacre called Bad Science, which is very good and explains the problems with lots of studies. Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally familiar with it, absolutely. I know Ben Goldacre. I've been familiar with him for like 3 decades now. Like almost.
Okay. So you understand the concept then?
That's why we have these large-scale studies and meta-analyses and systemic reviews like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Stop.
Jesus, this is a train wreck. Okay.
Okay.
So
I just can't submit anything. It's all going to have a problem and be useless. I already realized that.
Yeah, that is your problem. That is not my problem.
It's all just, oh, that's your opinion, dude. Oh, this is my opinion, man. Like, that's the whole debate strategy here.
Stop. I haven't said that once. Have I said that once?
7 days.
I haven't said that once, though. Okay.
Hey, 7 days. Please, let me have my own debate. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, I asked you about evidence that people on the carnivore diet are dropping dead of heart disease, right? I have not asked you about whether or not you find some prospective cohort study that links processed and red meat to heart disease, and just as what was pointed out, this is going to have healthy and unhealthy user bias, like people having unhealthy habits clustering together with the fact that they eat meat, which is not controlled in these studies. I'm sorry, it isn't, right? Because
sorry. Keep going.
Because the way they control is actually not pre-hoc, but post-hoc in terms of with multivariate regression, okay, which is inferential statistics, which on the outset does not make any claims about cause and effect. Okay, there are limitations to that.
You're not going to be a nihilist though, and just say we can't know anything and we don't have to pay any attention to any evidence that's.
No, we have to actually be disciplined about the claims that we can make and can't make. We can point out, for example, that there is a huge correlation between lung cancer and smoking. Right, the correlation is huge.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, but this doesn't mean that we can make a causal inference because there are other confounders.
We only admit that this correlation is massive and there's causation there after decades of suppression in academia and everywhere else by big tobacco. They conspire together in a mansion in England, big companies, all the CEOs, to suppress any. Yeah. You're aware of that. So,
okay. So what? What's your point?
My point is that you have all of these billions of dollars that have a stake in the continuation of these industries that are obviously going to be doing the exact same thing.
I mean, if you want to get now into the conflict of interest debate with me, I'm sorry you're going to lose that as well, because that is heavier on the vegan side, my friend, and vastly heavier, my friend. Okay, there's
2%, 2% of the populations of our countries are vegans, man. What? Like 2%? What is that?
Yeah, you're making such great points there. Guess fucking what? There is a push by corporations and by public-private partnerships to reduce meat consumption. Okay? How about that? And I've shown this in my documentary, by the way. It's clear. Plant-based industries are more profitable than animal-based industries. Okay? There's a reason why the corporations that fund.
What's you can even Google this. What's the market cap of the largest company that sells plant-based food substitutes? What's the market capitalization of that company?
Even if that was low, so fucking what? Because these foods are not in demand, because largely they taste like shit. They're sitting on a shelf, right? You're not making any points here. But if they actually can,
if no one's buying them, where's the money? You know?
Yeah, that's why they want to drive out the animal-based competition, right? But anyway, we're not even going to get into that because we're jumping from topic to topic. All I'm saying is that you don't have any cause and effect evidence that meat causes this and that when there are so many fucking confounders which could be eliminated if we had actually experimental studies on human beings, which we don't. And a meta-analysis is not going to change that thing, that fact. If this meta-analysis is stacked up with prospective cohort studies that don't control for shit at the outset.
Sorry. This is important. This is important. I want to jump in. This is
carnivores. Are you aware that Eskimos, for example, pretty much just subsist on nothing but animals and occasional berries before the West got to them and started selling them processed things?
Yeah, and that's actually making
the rate of ischemic heart disease and atherosclerosis and all the rest of it is extremely high in Eskimos.
Actually not. In traditional
actually improved when the Americans started bringing over their fucking McDonald's and cheeseburgers and all this crap.
Yeah, that is something I first don't believe. Second, even that wouldn't prove any cause and effect because how many other variables have changed since then?
It's impressive.
Right? What?
I'm just impressed at how apathetic you are to all of these. You know, this is compelling to anyone else that I talked to about this, but you just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, do you care that Nicolas Cage movies releases correlate with swimming pool drownings? Would you say that this is? Would you then say that we should ban Nicolas Cage movies? Because there's a strong correlation there.
Is that true, or did you just make that up?
No, this is actually a correlation that exists. You can Google it.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all that you've given me. But anyway,
So this is all just a coincidence. Then that's what you're saying. You're convinced that it's just a big coincidence that I can just keep rattling it off.
by the way, if you want to talk about even correlations, right? Even correlations, they're not usually that strong in these studies either. When you actually look at the absolute number of incidents, right? Because usually in these studies, they have a baseline incidence that is very low, actually. So even if you have a relative risk increase of, I don't know, 23%, in the real world, that means nothing because the baseline incidence is already so low in these studies.
Well, it is a big issue: heart disease, heart attacks, cardiovascular
Yeah,
deaths.
I mean in those studies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the main killer in the West at this point is heart attacks.
Yeah, you don't understand my point, right? You don't. These people are sampled from a general population, my friend. Do you even know what?
And that population has an epidemic of heart disease. Yeah.
So, oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Do you even understand how these studies work?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they work? How do studies in general work? Explain. Do they take every single person on this planet in one study, or one? Do they take a population, or do they sample from a population?
Yeah, they take a cross section of the public. They try and control for variables. Yeah, they state what they've controlled for. They state how they're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you look at it,
so you're saying that they're not doing that, so we can't know anything.
Oh my God.
Okay. Like, it was a waste of time for them to have done that because you still just don't care. Like, there's no methodology that can possibly be good enough. You basically just volunteered that. Like, we can never know. We can never know cause.
I'm sorry, but I think that you don't understand my point. Actually,
you have said that though. I'm quite sure you've said that we can never know. It's always going to just be correlation. Well, I think you said that pretty early on.
Yeah, I'm telling you that even a correlation is actually, when you look at the absolute incidence rate, is actually very low. We're talking about like, for example, I actually covered this in.
We're talking about for heart disease, aren't we? For risk of stroke and calcification of arteries, atherosclerosis.
Yeah, I know that these diseases are the most prevalent in our society. Yes,
yeah, they're very prevalent. Yeah.
This is not undercutting my point, actually, because you don't understand my fucking point. My point is that within these studies, right, when they actually go and collect the data from these people, right, so they sample a bunch of people, usually not randomized sample, right, and very often aged populations, by the way. So
they try and exclude people that are old on purpose. They try and have similar populations.
Yeah, okay.
That's one of the first things you do. That's one of the first things you do in these studies. You eliminate people that are old. You eliminate people that have underlying health conditions. You try and get similar demographics on each side. You know, race, ethnicity. This is just basic methodology that I'm talking about now. And you're saying that I'm the one that doesn't understand methodology and that you just understand it, but it sounded like you're just learning right now.
In some studies they do, in some studies they don't. Anyway.
And they state if they have as well. They put that in the study so people know. It's part of the whole process.
Yeah, I understand that. So fucking what? My point is that when you actually look at the disease incidence within the study time frame, right, during the years of follow-up, that the baseline incidence is very low. And even if you have a correlation of 23% relative risk increase within these studies, in absolute numbers, this doesn't mean much.
Well, we're not really.
And it's not even positive.
We're not so much talking about, say, a population of 1,000 on each side and 3 of them have a heart attack over the next decade. We're not talking about that. We're talking about like blood, serum, LDL. We're measuring things like that. We're not usually measuring incidences of heart attacks.
Yeah, first of all, do you have any evidence that LDL causes heart disease?
Yeah, it's one of the most established and accepted facts in medical science.
Again, do you have any evidence that LDL causes heart disease? Causes?
Answer is yes.
Yeah, then show it.
This is NHS again. This is the body that the population of my entire country.
Yeah, so an opinion piece from the NHS, so we don't have any evidence. Okay.
So the whole NHS is wrong about this. Just want to get that clear before we move on. They're gamming the whole population. They're just lying to them. If that's what your position is, fine. We can just move on.
Well, again, we could also go into the conflicts of interest behind the whole cholesterol bad type of narrative. But anyway, this is yeah, sure. But yeah, let's actually move on to another topic because
I just want to make sure that it's not some vendetta against NHS for some reason. There's a British Heart Foundation. High cholesterol is when you have too much cholesterol in your blood, which can increase risk of having a heart attack or stroke. That's the British Heart Foundation.
Again, you should look up the.
It's like you just don't care about anything. Like
I don't care. I don't care about appeal to authority fallacy. That's what I don't care about.
It's not a fallacy if the authority in question is actually an authority in the field that they're meant to represent.
Yeah, okay. Tell me.
That's the fallacy. What the hell?
No, tell me one thing. These foundations.
You just got that wrong. I got you there. That was a bad one.
No.
That's not what. What's an appeal to authority?
Appeal to authority.
See what it is.
Yeah, it is. But when you actually say, okay, this person said something, therefore it's true, and it must be true because they have high authority, right? Without any evidence, basically, right? I'm asking, what is the evidence that these foundations are correct, right? What is their evidence?
Is it an appeal to authority fallacy when your dentist says brush your teeth?
Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't think you know what it is. I'm trying to figure out if you know what it is.
I know what it is.
Answer the question that I just asked then.
Listen, I don't give a shit about these fucking games.
Bro, if you're gonna do the argumentum ad herpaderpum, if you're gonna do the you have committed the argumentum ad pooper-duperum to me, then it's like, what am I doing here at this point? Come on, man. Like, you can't just hit me with appeal to authority and totally get it wrong.
No, just because these high cholesterol, just because these foundations said something doesn't mean it's true, does it? Right? So what's their evidence then? Silence.
I don't know. I think you're moving on from the appeal to authority fallacy because it literally is not an appeal to authority fallacy. It literally is not. So you've just ignored that. It literally isn't.
No, it isn't actually. Right?
When is that? Am I allowed to appeal to any authorities? Like if 7 Days here says Volound's good at Total War, so when Volound says Warhammer 3 is shit, that's worth considering. Is he committing an appeal to authority fallacy there?
What was that? I haven't catch that.
If 7 Days says Volound will teach you how to install Medieval 1 Total War, he knows how to do that. He's helped me. Is that an appeal to authority fallacy if he says that I can help you install Medieval 1?
I don't see how this is analogous to the thing that we're talking about here. You said
if a dentist says, I'll try again with the first one. If a dentist says you should brush your teeth, is that an appeal to authority fallacy? My dentist said brushing your teeth is a good idea.
Technically it is. Because...
It's not. It literally isn't.
Yes, because just because an authority figure says something doesning mean it's true, right?
But it's not a fallacy. It's still a good idea to pay attention to them. That's why we have... Like,
pay attention to something...
If every appeal to any authority... If every authority that we appeal to is just being fallaciously appealed to, then we can't appeal to anything. It's pointless. Like You can't do anything
Pay,
now.
paying attention to something is different from truth claims, isn't it?
Considering it to have veracity and have informative value on their subject.
Yeah, as a consideration, sure, but it doesn't mean it's true. Still.
So it's silly then to just immediately respond with argumentum ad authoritatem.
Yeah, again, I destroyed you on that point, so you're just appealing to
Sir, you
basically
have
making fun of
committed
me.
the argumentum ad hominerum. You are committing the pooper scooperum right now. You need to stop that.
Again, my question is, do you have any evidence that the NHS and the British Heart Foundation is correct about this? That high cholesterol or cholesterol in general causes heart disease? Do you have any evidence for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to get it for you, or will you not care?
Well, if it's good evidence, then I will care. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
And again, the claim is cause, right? Cause.
Yeah, well,
It's not. It's
what
not.
else would it be?
Yeah, it's not correlations. It's not. It's cause. Okay.
How do you establish causation?
Within controlled experimental intervention.
Give an example of when that's been done successfully then. I want to see what your standard of evidence is. Give an example of what you just said for something else.
Yeah, that has actually been done, I think, in the hard sciences and not so in the social sciences or in the science.
I want to look at that. I want to see this flawless methodology that's actually good for once, because all of my methodologies so far have been shit, haven't they? So I want to see a good one.
Okay, can I just make a quick point? When it comes to sciences like medicine, which are much more variable, you can be fairly certain, but it gets fuzzy. But you can't be like 100% certain with a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's
right.
I reject absolute certainty as useless anyway. So
yeah, there's not even good correlations with a lot of these things that we're pointing out here, right? Okay, but
I'm just waiting, man. I want to see this.
what do you want to see? I'm still waiting for your cause of evidence.
I want to see an example of what you just said I have to meet. Like, I want to see you meeting that yourself or something else when you think it's been done, so I can know what I need to do.
Yeah, such studies don't exist in human nutrition. That is a problem.
So you're deliberately leading me on a wild goose chase because anything I submit is going to be useless.
I'm telling you about the limitations of nutritional so-called science. That is the thing, right? You're claiming LDL causes heart disease, cholesterol causes heart disease, right? Meanwhile, you don't have any evidence for this.
Of course, I have evidence.
Yeah, where is it then? I'm still waiting. You point to some opinions of the British Heart Foundation and the NHS.
It's some of the most studied stuff in medicine for the past 40, 50 years. Saturated fat, cholesterol, heart disease risk. Like, it's been done to death, man. Like, there's
also people who studied medicine who claim otherwise. So fucking
they're cranks.
Yeah, they're cranks, right?
Yeah, like the NHS webpage says what it does for a reason. It's not like these other people have any traction.
Yeah, okay. Can you give me a guarantee that this reason is not a monetary one?
Yeah, the fact that the main cause of heart disease is exposure to saturated fat and cholesterol, when you can pretty much only get either of those from animal products, and even our government,
evidence.
Even our government, and I think your government as well, subsidizes that extremely hard. So obviously the corporations and the governments are in bed with each other, and the animal agribusiness are in bed with each other. So I see it as the opposite to what you claim.
Yeah, okay, you're failing again, because I have done a video on this. When we look at a worldwide standpoint, plant foods are more subsidized than animal foods. So you're full of shit again.
They're not.
Oh yes, they are.
Which ones? Give me examples.
So I can post a graph here in the chat real quick. Wait a second.
I want to see this.
Sure. If I go to my own video on this. Wait a second.
You know that after it, this is interesting. It should be interesting anyway, but because of World War II, we overproduced milk in the West, especially the US, and it was being processed into cheese. And the US government had a giant vault full of cheese from all the subsidized milk they produced and stored as cheese. And then it started all of these programs to try and get people to drink milk and eat cheese, because before that, there wasn't really much consumption of milk and cheese. So not only did it get subsidized by the government when they started a war economy, but they then had to design PR campaigns for dairy consumption and cheese consumption, and those have continued to this day. Like, actually, government subsidized advertising of dairy.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
That's really interesting. How's that not interesting, man? I'm not even
So people didn't drink milk before this, then eat cheese.
really. No.
Okay.
A lot of people are lactose intolerant. I'm not, because
Okay.
I'm genetically Irish, but the whole of China is basically lactose intolerant. They can't even drink milk, man. Like, we're not meant to be drinking milk.
Yeah,
from other
okay.
animals.
Look at this link that I've sent you, and I don't know why it's not showing the whole picture, but anyway, the agricultural support worldwide is largely on a plant-based side in terms of subsidies, so you're wrong on this. Okay, you can see it in the graph that I posted. So,
Shield, can you remind me? Sorry, I want to ask you a question, Shield. There's a question I want to ask you, Shield. I'm sorry. Is it their byproducts from vegan agricultural farming that humans don't eat but are very profitable? Like there's some sort of oil or something that's very profitable. Isn't there? There's some byproducts that they don't feed to humans, but they sell and make a big profits from.
Cash crops.
No.
What kind of oil? Do you mean seed oils or?
It's seed oil. It's something like that. Why don't you bring up the byproducts that they make profits from when you talk about the vested interest thing? That's what you should have brought up when you brought that up.
Palm
right?
oil?
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, seed oils are in pretty much all the ultra-processed food, but he brought up subsidies, and I want to counter that first. I mean, we're jumping from topic to topic. He has not given any evidence that cholesterol causes heart disease. He just
I have the NHS, BHF. That's evidence.
Their opinion. That's.
I don't know. Like, you have to know what evidence. But define evidence. Just so we have to do this again now. Define evidence.
Yeah, evidence is when we're talking about causation.
No, just define the fucking word evidence.
I'm not playing the semantics. Saying we all know what fucking evidence means.
You don't.
No, stop. Evidence in a legal sense and a scientific sense have a different definition. Okay? So I'm just pointing that out.
If you don't have evidence, I submitted evidence.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, define the word define. I got you. What kind of bullshit is this?
You don't know what the word evidence means, dude.
Yeah,
come on, man. You've even had time to Google it and you still haven't just done it and tried to, clutch it in. Come on.
Yeah, you're trying to get me on some gotcha, right? On some.
If you say I don't have evidence and I've literally given evidence, then it's
just. But that is not evidence on a cause and effect statement that cholesterol causes heart disease. That is their opinion. An opinion is not evidence.
What are opinions informed by when it's the medical experts of a government body like the NHS? Did they just pull it out their ass?
I don't know. Proof that they're not. The burden of proof is on you, my friend. And again, you haven't.
You're the one that's saying
Are you what?
You're the one that's saying all of the past medical literature for 40 years is just forged.
No. Not. Okay. Wow. I'm telling you what.
You said there's an alliance between big money and fucking academia to what is it? suppress information about the benefits of animal products and pretend that plants are good. That's basically what you said like 10-15 minutes ago.
Well,
you did the conspiracy, didn't you? Do you not believe there's a conspiracy? I think a lot of your YouTube cred is staked on believing this.
listen, we have not even touched upon the topic of conflict of interest yet. We can get into that if you want to, right? But you have not even.
I want to interject. I want to ask you.
So it's Ford.
Let me interject. You've read the book Bad Science, okay? You have read that, okay? So the Daily Mail was publishing faulty studies about bacon causing cancer, right? That's one of the subjects of the book.
Cancer. It's processed meat.
Okay. No, it doesn't cause cancer.
Like class 2B carcinogen, the worst kind. So it's not even like the
carcinogen. The word carcinogen means cancer causing. Do you have any evidence for that? No.
Now we can define words. Now we can do it. He picks a big one and he can define it now.
Okay. If the media is so pro meat, if the site's so pro meat, why is there so much alarmism against meat in mainstream media with 40 studies? The Bad Science pointed out that bacon example as being bad, faulty, right? Not understanding correlation is causation. They don't publish a study without understanding that basic scientific methodology. Okay.
Right. The answer to this is we all live in Europe, right? Our governments are shit in the bed. What they're doing is not working. They have a deficit that they can't get rid of. Our health systems are fucking crumbling, and the right wingers are coming in and dismantling them with the excuse that they're not working. So obviously they're trying to get rid of the worst possible offenders. We've already acknowledged that happened with smoking. Okay, this is it happening now for red meat and processed meat. They're finally starting this up.
Okay. So let me ask another question. What about the kids who die from the vegan diet? Is that not a thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So do kids need the vegan diet? Do they need a meat diet then, kids?
No, they just need to take their B12 supplement and not have negligent
pieces of you know your B12 supplements are not adequate because they actually don't directly feed the supplements directly into the system. They don't work.
They are. That's why, vegans that take a B12 supplement have higher B12 than carnists that eat chicken meat every day. Because even people that eat meat are deficient.
You can take over.
Let me talk about the supplements, because you said, big meat and all of that, right? Big meat and, industry funding and all of that, right? How well is the supplement industry regulated? Is it well-regulated industry? Is it an industry that we can trust with the health of our children? The answer,
I wouldn't
no.
Anyone, but when I take my B12 supplement and I get my blood work done and I have healthy levels of B12, I'm quite confident that that's what they're actually putting in the pills and it's working, and I'm not going to stop doing it.
Yeah, you need to look into what kind of other stuff goes into some of these supplements, because this industry is not regulated very well, okay? So to say that we are morally obligated to depend on a very unregulated industry, that is very dubious at best, okay? So what have you put there? You put some link there. What is that?
He's saying that vitamin B12 in pill form is ineffective. I'm linking the study that was done in Germany, by the way. That's the funny coincidence that shows that's not the case. Compares vegans, vegetarians, and people that eat a meat diet, and it shows that B12s vegans often have higher levels in these essential nutrients, especially B12. I think vegans did the best in this study for B12. Way better than vegetarians, and I think marginally better than people eating meat diets.
Let me look at this real quick.
Yeah, because this is probably the one that I would want to pay the most attention to. Like, this is one that I've been. I thought
okay.
To be honest, so
what do you think is funny?
The fact that vegetarians do the worst because they take a middle of the road thing and think they've got a balanced diet, so they don't even supplement. People that eat meat get all of the nutrients that are in meat that you need to have that are lacking in plant-based foods. But the people that do the best are quite often the vegans that just have a plant-based diet, and then they just basically cheat with supplements and just have everything. and that the people that eat the meat diets are often deficient. Like you mentioned K2 earlier, which is in sauerkraut, by the way, and we can also synthesize our cells from K1 with a conversion process. Vegans, I think, have the best K2 levels.
I mean, this annoys me about a lot of vegans, and I've talked to some vegans. You jumping from topic to topic to topic. I'm looking at this
I'll just answer
shit.
your question then. I think you asked a question, answered it.
You jumped from B12 to K2 now. Like, I cannot answer like thousands of questions and read studies simultaneously. Stick to one topic. So this study here.
I'll be quiet and let you read it then. You should have just said, wait a minute.
I mean,
if you don't want me to talk, just
Shield, can you calm down, please? Can you calm down, Shield?
Yeah, but he's galloping. He's galloping.
Be disciplined.
I mentioned 2 nutrients. I could have done 6 or 7, bro. That's all I'll say.
So first of all, this study here is in 115 participants. So already very low sample size. That's what I'm seeing here.
Oh man, we're in trouble then.
Yeah, apparently. And wait, what was the study duration? What was it? Cannot find it here. Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't know, it's German, so it's probably formatted for Germans. Should be easy for you.
Wait, this was like 1 year? The trial was... Oh, yeah, this is a 1 year study in 150 people.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, how much information can you extrapolate from this trial that was going on for 1 year? I mean,
how long does it have to go on for, bro? I'll let them know. How long does it have to go on for?
Depletion of B12 can go on for many decades, actually. Okay,
the half-life of B12 in the liver, which is where it's stored, is like 3 months.
Yeah, okay.
So how many half-lives happen over how long is it that you said? Decades? 3 months?
It can in some people.
So each year is 4 half-lives, a decade is 40 half-lives, what's 2 to the power of 40? That's something like 1,000, a million, a billion, a trillion. So you're going to have 1/1,000,000th of the B12 left that you had at the start.
Wait, what was that here? I'm just looking at this right now because this is interesting.
So
yeah. Anyway, this study is not very informative.
Oh, shame.
So wait, there was no... Multivitamin intake was highest in vegan. So there were also other supplements there, right?
I think a lot of them took multivitamins. Some of them didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So
some of them only took B12. I think that's quite common.
Yeah, that is also a confounder. Like, there were other supplements that were also taken then. Like, what the fuck? This is not causative evidence.
This is just comparing...
Can you stop swearing, please, Shield? Can you just stop doing it?
This is just comparing the nutrient profiles, you know, the essential micronutrients of different populations.
You cited a very low sample size, short duration, and there were other supplements that were taken. Yeah, okay, this study is not worth reading because...
I'll let them know they need to do better.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, you should probably let them know because you're going to be right beside them, aren't you? Well, this is...
Yeah, so you cited very bad evidence and you make up like...
Alright, so the cross-sectional study of nutritional status in healthy, young, physically active German omnivores, vegetarians and vegans from Maximilian Andreas Storz, Alexander Miller, 2023.
It's great. It's great that you can read the title. It's very, very nice. But next time read the methodology.
You need to do better. It's a shit study.
Yeah, next time read the methodology instead of just posting
I'm just letting you know, like this has done the rounds, and this is one of the studies that have been lauded as having some of the best methodology on this subject that's ever been done. Right?
Yeah,
Like, this is the only time. This is the only time I've ever seen someone react to this study like this. Right?
wow. If this is
right,
the best
That's because you're a vegan and you hang around in vegan circles.
Yeah,
Right.
I've seen people debating about this study, and people have talked about this on places like, well, just the Reddit that was mentioned earlier, for example. This has been mentioned there. People discuss this, and the methodology
Yeah.
for this study is generally held to have been, better than most. Like, this is really good.
Yeah, yeah. If this is the best you can do, then I'm sorry that this isn't really impressive. But anyway, let's move on to another topic. You claimed in the comments that
I don't know. I don't think we even looked at what the conclusions of the study are. Like, I only mentioned a few things.
I already mentioned why I even don't take the methodology seriously, because low sample size, short duration, confounders.
The trial was approved by the Ethical Committee of the University Medical Center of Freiburg, Germany. So
I don't give
they're
a
happy
shit.
with it. They're happy with it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
So what should they have done? What should they have done differently for next time?
Longer duration, no confounding factors, which is impossible in nutrition science, because we cannot put these people locked in labs for their whole life.
Did you look at the exclusion criteria?
Exclusion criteria? I thought this was a... Wait.
Did you look at it?
Wait a second. I just briefly glanced over this because it's a very long read.
So you didn't really look at their methodology at all then?
How can I do this in 1 minute? We have not exchanged references beforehand. This is a very spontaneous debate.
You've already made your conclusions. If you made them too soon, it's not my fault. I don't know why you're shouting at me and blaming it on me.
I can already trash the study just looking at these 3 flaws. Okay, which
you were the first one to throw
invalid.
You were the first one here to throw out the word dishonest. I think now's the time for me to use it.
Oh my god, cry me a fucking river. Cry me a river. Oh, you said this wrong.
I'm not crying. I'm
glad you did that.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not crying at all. I'm glad you did that, because now I get to do it and throw it back in your face. I'm happy you did that. Keep doing it.
I mean, people with half a brain cell will know that I'm absolutely correct on this, because this is not relevant.
I think the motivations are quite clear to anyone that listens to this, and the pattern of behaviour is well established, and this could go on for another 10 hours and nothing will change.
Yeah, the motivation...
We might as well call this. Yeah.
I thought I would have more to deal with here. Like, it's just being stick your head.
Well, because he's even though your position is wrong, he's fumbled the ball. To be honest. Right. So okay.
Well, so guy there, Shields. It's not even me that said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You fumbled it.
No, I didn't fumble it. I didn't fumble it.
Stop. You're, first of all, ad hominem attacks, shouting and swearing at him, losing your temper. Right. Okay, you've got to show discipline and control yourself in these debates, or they're pointless. Because the vegans are just going to run circles around you every single time. And you've actually lost the debate in the past.
Yeah, you mentioned tactical error at the start.
Yes.
This hasn't been tactical.
Yes. So, yeah. Okay. So, you can carry on if you want, but I think it's just pointless. All right, carry on.
I mean, okay. I mean, if I'm being dish galloped, right? If I'm being strawmanned, right? If millions of other topics are brought up, and I have to simultaneously respond to all of them, right? Like, how the fuck can I...
Okay, so the thing is, okay, you called for a debate right away tonight. I didn't call for this debate. Okay, so is it an informal conversation, right? Just asking each other questions, or are you going to go into studies? If you're going to go to studies, and you're complaining about not having enough time, you're going to have to give yourself time to prepare. Okay, that's your fault. You have to bring a list of studies that you both agree to look at and talk about and analyse and prepare. But you didn't do that. So you're better off doing this as a more informal debate type thing, just asking questions, right? And so you're just going to have to let go instead of going on about studies all the time. This was prepared badly from the start, in my opinion. You couldn't decide what you was doing. So this would have been better as an informal debate. Okay, this is why this is falling apart.
I tried to have other people in here and just have it be fun and conversational, and just have more people adding to this. But I didn't want that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, when you have a full debate, you're going to gillip gash and talk about other things as well. Okay. So
Well, he's not answering questions. That's my problem.
right, well, point out he's not answering questions. But keep your temper then. Like,
Oh my
okay,
god.
look, there's people get straw-man in debates and get gillip gash in debates. Even if that's happening, they keep their temper.
Does this mean he's not going to upload this? Because if he doesn't
I'll
upload it, I'll upload it.
I'll upload it. I'll upload it.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
So let's get uploaded.
okay, I'll upload it. I don't care. I don't care if he won or lost. Even though I don't agree with the vegan position, I'll upload it. Okay, but
Good on
you
you.
will carry on. You can carry on.
I mean, this is so ridiculous. Okay.
Title it, Volound gets wrecked by German carnist. There you go.
Yeah,
Title it like that.
Okay, I actually want to keep this focused, but yeah, let's focus on the claims again. So you said that B12 is injected in every livestock cattle. I want to see some evidence for this.
Well, you're aware that they manufacture big fucking shipments of this stuff and send out to factory farms, aren't you? Like, this is a common thing, injecting cattle with shots.
No, actually, I've not seen any evidence. Could you provide some?
Also, only cows can actually synthesize B12 from cobalamin. Pigs and chickens can't do that. So if they don't have access to soil, they can't even dig around in the dirt.
That is not correct. Actually, chickens can do that by eating their own poop.
Yeah, coprophagia. Yeah, I know about that, but we don't usually allow them to do that. In fact, whenever they're usually exposed to their own poop, they're usually lying in a puddle of it, just letting it erode away their, cloaca and their skin.
I don't know about that, but can we focus on cows? Because you said that cows are injected with B12, so I want to see evidence for this. And not just some cows, but literally most or all cows. You made that claim. So
it depends on the farm. If we're talking about factory farm, if we're talking about grass-fed, it really depends on the practices, even the geography. It's all about saving money and doing what's most profitable, man. So if it's going to be profitable to stick cows with syringes with B12, they're obviously going to do it. If their flock is deficient, they're obviously going to do it. They probably have it on hand if they want to do it.
Yeah,
we wean them super early. You accept that they get weaned really early, don't you? So that their milk can be sold. Like the whole point in the life cycle of these dairy cows, for example, is we impregnate them artificially. We steal away their calves. Sometimes we just kill the calves, brain them on a rock. Sometimes it gets sold for dog food. But then the cows have to produce milk, on and on and on. The cycle repeats. So it's like everything we've done is to get them weaned as soon as possible and just have the cow producing milk for humans. That's the whole system set up. That's what it's set up for. There's more money in dairy, I think, than even in bovine tissue.
So yeah, that was interesting, but I've not seen any evidence that literally most cows are given vitamin B12 injections. Again, where's the evidence for that?
Yeah, I'll get studies on this. They even talk about the medical benefits, perhaps, of injecting B12 for human consumption. When they're injecting the cows, the effect it has on humans, whether we should do it right before it's sold, all that stuff.
Yeah, whether or not it is beneficial to do that is a different thing from whether or not it's actually done. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so how many cows?
Two different.
Like, when do you think they actually will do
it? From what I know, from what I've seen, and I'm not an expert on this, but from what I've seen, they usually give them cobalt to lick at, some kind of cobalt salt stone. Okay.
Yeah, licking stone, big blue thing, I think.
Yeah. So that is not the same as injecting them with B12, because sometimes in the soil the cobalt is very low. It's very depleted soil, because usually they get them from the soil, the cobalt. So that is not something. But again, that is different from giving them.
I think in Germany, the cobalt is really low in the soil. Like continental Europe, cobalt levels I think are really low. I think it's higher in the US.
Okay.
So in your country, I think they'd be especially likely to either fortify their food with cobalt, like we get fortified soy milks and all that stuff with B12. So they fortify the food of the cows that you eat, or they actually do just inject them, like after they get weaned, just
Yeah,
a booster. Or when they're
I
ill,
mean,
or when they're moving them, they're going to just boost them, aren't they? Because a lot of the time they're deficient, just like we're deficient.
sometimes they are, but that is
It's,
not
it's
always.
rampant. They're deficient fucking so much. Like they keep them on the edge of deficiency to the extent that it's not going to harm profits. Like everything about their welfare, their health is just right on that fucking line of barely tolerable to make as much profit as possible.
Yeah, that is also true in the plant crop industry, but we're gonna get later into that whole thing and the animal
Yeah.
suffering that goes on in crop agriculture.
Yeah, what was that I
Um,
said? Did I say all cows get injected with B12?
I think that you said most or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it happens a lot. Like it's just a common practice in the industry, and it might not be just routine. Whenever they get weaned, they just inject them. But they make decisions about whether to do this. It's probably more expensive than just fortifying their food, which I think is common practice, especially in factory farms. I think all their food is just fortified. Like it's just designed down to the last fucking percent, like fraction of a percent of every molecule for optimal production. So if that doesn't work in whatever circumstance, they'll obviously have to fall back to B12 injection.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like us, like if we're deficient, we get injected. So
yeah, this might be true in some cases, but I have not seen any evidence that this is true in the type of magnitude that you're describing. Usually they're getting a cobalt stone to look at, and they synthesize their own B12 via the gut bacteria. Okay, that is what I know.
yeah, but remember,
Right?
like there might be some behavioral problems with a herd where some of them just get bullied off the cobalt licking stone. They might be too lame to actually go there. They might just have a favorite place on the other side of the pasture, because I think you're talking about pasture feeding there with that, which is non-standard. I think that's
No,
less than
no,
10%.
no. This also goes on in CAFO. This also goes on in CAFO.
What's that? Oh, is that like
Concentrated
yeah,
feedlot operation.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
But again, I'm
That's mostly fortifying their food in that case.
you mean like the grain and cereal legume
Yeah,
mixtures or
feed
something.
mix. Yeah.
You're
It's
claiming
fortified.
that you're claiming that literally all cattle or most cattle gets fortified feed. Is that what you're saying?
It varies, the geography, whatever's cheaper, the economics, the local economics, whatever. It's routine standard practice to fortify cattle feed. Sometimes it even comes pre-mixed, and it's designed and it's shipped wholesale in big ton bags.
So okay, let's accept that for a second. Would you say that then this means that if these companies wouldn't do that, then a meat eater who eats that meat doesn't have these nutrients then?
Well, you wouldn't even have the cows because they would just die. They would probably have internal bleeding from no B12. What do you mean?
I mean, they synthesize their own B12.
If the conditions were met, yeah.
Yeah, the conditions are they need cobalt. That's it.
And they need to not have, what do you call it, metabolic stress or shock that disrupts their gut, which is really common as well, especially on factory farms. In nature, that sort of shit isn't as common, but the way we farm these animals, all these problems they always emerge and are just kept at an acceptable level.
I mean, I agree that animal agriculture has problems, or yeah, basically CAFO. I agree with that, actually, that we need to improve on that, sure.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not...
What do you mean improve on it? How can we improve on it?
Yeah, so for example, I would say that these cows should not get... they shouldn't be in feedlots, they should be grazing, they shouldn't be getting all these crops to eat. but instead feed on
So-
grass.
So how do you do that? Like, do you just destroy every rainforest and just spread them all out over the entire Earth? Take them out the condensed factories and just, let them run free and
No,
destroy all the forests?
this is not necessary. You can actually reduce the land that we usually use for feed grains or feed crops. You can use that land. You can
There's not enough of it.
Yeah, actually, there are some calculations done on this that show
The yield of these crops, like we pick these crops like soy and corn on purpose because they have massive yields. If you just grow conventional grasses for hay, the yield is going to be atrocious. That's why we leave pastures to the shittiest, least fertile, most rugged terrain where nothing else can grow but shitty grass, because the yield there is so bad. If you're going to get rid of all of the corn and soy production,
that's called marginal land. There's actually plenty of marginal land to feed cattle on. To be honest, there's actually lots of it.
Most agricultural land is actually marginal.
Yeah.
So what are you
There's
talking
just not
about?
enough. There's just not enough, man. We already we already destroy forests, rainforests.
But how much? No. How much? What do you mean is not enough? How much beef do we need to eat? Okay.
Well, just on current consumption levels, like it doesn't even go up. Forget about China.
There are calculations showing that we can have a grass-fed United States, for example.
What percentage of the Earth's arable land is used for feed crops for cattle? Do you know?
Percentage of land. It's definitely in the minority. I don't know off the top of my head like the percentage, but it's less than the food crops. And I've covered this extensively in my documentary, by the way. It's I think 25% or so, something like that.
40% of the global arable land for crops is used for animal feed. 40%.
Yes, but
that is mixing in the byproducts.
Yes, and also a lot of the stuff that's grown can't be eaten by humans anyway. Okay, it's not like we're feeding them food that humans can eat.
Feed crops.
You understand that? Yeah,
and feed.
Yeah, but a lot of feed is not fit for human consumption.
That 40% figure is mixing in the grains that we can eat and the byproducts that we cannot eat. That is inflating the numbers.
What we feed to cows is what we could eat at soy and corn.
Yes, but over 80% of the cattle's or livestock diet in general is non-edible by human beings. That means a lot of byproducts, distillers grains, soy meal cakes, and grass and leaves. We cannot eat that.
Well, we could have grown something else that we could eat instead of growing the things that are the most calorie dense for cows to feed them to then process it into food that we eat and end anyway.
Yeah, but
we don't need to grow all this soy and corn. We could grow potatoes, fucking tomatoes, onions, whatever. We could grow anything else.
Sure, but
there's grazing land that we can't grow food on.
Yeah. That is another thing.
And byproducts, and what we're going to do with the byproducts as well.
That's not going to meet the massive demand of all the cattle in the world. We have so much of it.
Okay, what massive demand? Like, how much cattle get eaten? How much more do we need to eat?
40% of the world's agricultural land, arable land. Crops for humans are only about 15%.
A lot of it, but a lot of them are look, a lot of grass-fed cattle on the land that's not suitable for growing stuff on. There's plenty of that out there.
There's not.
Yes, there is.
We already
Australia's full of it.
That.
Yeah, and so
Australia's a giant fucking desert. What you on about, man?
But in Australia, there's barely any farming land that you can directly grow crops on, right? And outside that land, there's land that's not quite suitable, but you can still feed cattle on, right? So it's not an either or. It's not like, for example, you don't have to just get rid of what you're saying is true. You need to actually eat cattle, but you don't just get rid of cattle completely because there's land that you could just feed cattle on. And it's no good for anything else. Marginal land. You don't know about this.
We've already done that, though. We're already using the useful arable land. If we were to,
I'm not talking about useful arable. I'm not talking about useful arable land. I'm talking about marginal land. So that marginal land can't be used for anything. It can't be used for anything else. That's the point I'm making.
We use all the stuff that we can't use for anything.
Okay,
else.
so
are you telling us
fine,
to just go further out and find even more?
No, I'm not telling that at all. Right, and also monocropping for vegetables is destructive as well and destroys land. Okay, and it kills as well. The vegan diet actually kills more than the meat-eating diet due to pesticides. It kills more animals, rodents, and birds. And it kills insects as well.
Cattle. Stop growing corn for cattle.
Well, feed them grass then.
We already do that, and there's not enough to meet the demand.
Okay. What about all the animals? What animals killed by pesticides growing vegetables? What about all the rodents that die? What about all the birds that die?
Look. I actually wanted to get into all of this, but yeah. So, Jesus fucking Christ, man. So again, you said 40% of arable land is used for animal feed. Again, we need to. Again, this is not entirely correct because this figure includes the byproducts, which means these byproducts, they're coming from industries like ethanol production and other industries that we humans already use. So they would be produced anyway. If cows would eat them, they would end up in a landfill, or they would end up in compost, emitting methane and all of that shit. So this is...
You're saying there's basically a magic solution that we just don't use because we're so negligent, but anything that you suggest is going to just drive up the costs, and no one is going to pay $50 for a goddamn quarter pounder. It's not a solution.
What? First of all, if beef has got vital nutrients that we need, and meat has got... If we have to subsidise it to feed people, it's ethical that it's subsidised, right? Okay? People need to eat meat.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm a vegan. I've not done it in 8 years. Why
does a vegan diet have the highest drop? Why do 90% of people give up being vegan?
What?
90% of vegans drop out. It's got a high dropout rate.
Yeah.
Vegan diet.
80%, I think.
I'm trying to...
80.
I can answer the question, but I'm trying to figure out what implications that has for anything that I've said.
Well, so why are people dropping out the vegan diet then? Why? Are they
in mass graves? Is that why? I don't understand.
No, okay. People give up the vegan diet. They drop the vegan diet and switch back to a carnivore one. They become carnists again. They become bloodsuckers, vampires, whatever you want to call them, right? Okay, bloodmouth. Okay, right. I'm just. Let's forget about the implications. That dropout rate. Why is that dropout rate so high? I'm just curious about your ideas on that.
Because they were eating a plant-based diet, which is just a diet fad. They weren't actually principled ethical vegans, which is what veganism is an ethical position.
It's not an ethical position though. Veganism it kills. No, it doesn't. The destruction from monocropping kills loads of animals.
Ethical position is a description of a fucking. It's a philosophical fucking description.
It's bad ethics then. Bad ethics then. It's misguided ethics. Incorrect ethics. There's an ethical position, but it's not a good one, right?
Do you know how many animals die in crop agriculture?
Countless, beyond imagining.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you have
terrific.
Quadrillions, multiple quadrillions.
Yeah.
Okay. And vegans are always keen to play this game. Oh, this is because of animal feed, which. Yeah, to some extent, but not the majority of it. Definitely not. Okay. And there's
what percentage of needless death is caused by that then? Needless death. Obviously, there's a unavoidable death because humans have to eat to survive. What about the beyond that's unnecessary? The production beyond necessity. How much of that is caused by animal agriculture?
A lot.
Right.
A lot of like for example, a lot of the vegan foods that's destroying the rainforest in South America. Avocados are very destructive in South America. That's destroying rainforest. They're hipster food, basically.
Yeah, I've never even seen an avocado, bro.
Yeah, but that's your personal anecdote. They do get made and they do get sold.
Yeah,
it's destructive. So the thing is, there's very different things about the way we live. It's just capitalism and society in general, and you can't just have this false binary of meat unsustainable, veganism sustainable. It's false. It's a false dichotomy.
Well, capitalism or unsustainable, literally fucking infinite growth unsustainable, right? Right. And what do vegans decide to do? Like this is like there's an ethical position of veganism which is about minimizing harm reduction principles being applied to
then you're misguided. Then you're misguided because
I can't even fucking get through a thought. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
so
okay.
There's the ethical position, right? But then there's also the what about me? What about my health? I want to live a long time and be disease free, and there's people that are motivated by a plant-based diet for that. But then there's also the sustainability aspect that we're talking about. This is not even veganism. This is just this is eco. Just like this is some sort of eco veganism adjacency. This is not literally veganism.
Veganism falls in all three aspects.
It's just because on all three
and ethics. They lose on all three. They lose on all three.
Yeah.
You kill more animals. You do more environmental damage. It's less sustainable due to monocropping, and it's not a sustainable diet. It kills children. And the reason why the vegan diet has a high dropout rate is because people instinctively sense they're not getting enough nutrients from the food, and they give it up. Then they start eating meat. It's got a high dropout rate. And not because it's a fad. There's people who are committed in the vegan cult to eating meat, not eating meat, giving it up, not eating it, and they go about for years and they suffer, and they get guilty by the cult community to carry on doing it, and when they give up, they get shamed by the people on their social media accounts.
All right, some days, do you like football?
No, it's for shit.
So if I asked Messi or Ronaldo, you wouldn't have an answer?
I don't give a fuck. Pardon my French, I didn't mean to swear, sorry.
Wait. Well, what about you, Shield, Messi or Ronaldo?
But why are we talking about this now?
I'll tell you after.
Wait, what?
I'll tell you after you answer.
Listen,
trust me?
Yeah, I don't... listen.
You don't trust me? Oh my god. There's no need for that. Just play along, Messi, Ronaldo. Come on, don't be boring. Oh my god, you guys are terrible.
Okay, I'll answer for Messi.
There we go, Messi. That's the obvious answer. Everyone that's a football connoisseur knows it. Messi is the fucking GOAT, right? Right?
I thought Maradona was, but whatever.
Nah, Messi eclipsed them after the World Cup in Copa America.
Okay. So what's the point of this? I'm just curious.
What's the relevance?
Messi eats a plant-based diet for purposes of reducing inflammation and career longevity because, as you know, each month to these footballers is worth millions. A lot of them are going over to plant-based diets.
Okay.
If your goal is to reduce inflammation, just keep performing at the highest level for as long as possible. Just squeeze out every last month of your career. Like you see how hard Ronaldo's trying, don't you? Like the guy owns himself. Like,
just because. Yeah, but the thing is, just because he believes this to be true doesn't necessarily make it.
Yeah, I know.
There's some football player just gulls down red meat all the time, right, and nothing else, and has a fucking ruined colon, whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and he's doing it for his career. Okay, right. It doesn't necessarily mean he's doing the correct thing, right?
Yeah.
There's the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
Placebo effect of diet. Doesn't mean anything, right? Why do so many vegans? You know what late stage veganism is?
Never heard of that shit in my life. Is it on the NHS?
No, it's a stage of veganism before you die. Why are there so many walking skeleton vegans out there? Why do they look so unhealthy? Why do they prematurely age?
I don't know. When I look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, I see a fucking beast. Especially
he's not vegan. He's not.
You're not Austrian. You shush. You're German.
He's not vegan. He has promoted veganism, but he's not a vegan. So that's
he just eats a plant-based diet. He's not vegan.
Okay, he eats meat. He eats animal products. So what are you talking about?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Yes, he does. He admitted this.
Did he?
Yeah, currently, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of these vegan athletes drop out of veganism or quit their career. I've actually done also a video on this. So that's another fail on your part.
And do you know what Chegans are? Chegans, or what?
Oh yeah.
What is that?
They're
Yeah,
people people are not really vegan but say they are.
Schwarzenegger claimed to eat an 80% vegan diet.
There's no such thing as an 80%.
Yeah, it's 80%. Are you kidding me?
There's no such thing as it's either 100%. It's even as much as you can human, right? If you have no other choice, let's say 99. I'll say 99% acceptable if you had no other choice. That you ate what you was given in a concentration camp or something. But if it's not 100%, right, it's not a vegan diet.
Not plant-based. Well, yeah, exactly. It's not a diet in line with principles of veganism. You're right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So it's a minority fringe diet. Okay.
Like my ancestors, I'm Scottish, right? You figured that out. But my ancestry is Scots-Irish. My ancestors literally lived or died on the potato for generations. That was all they ate sometimes for months.
Oh, they ate sometimes, yeah, but for months, but not all the time. They stored the meat in their body, the nutrients from the meat, not all the time, not 100%. They probably didn't live well, did they? You don't seem to understand. You store the nutrients and vitamins in your body.
The other half of my family ate nothing but oats as peasants. So while the English had access to beef and all that shit, and my ancestors absolutely crushed yours. So
I don't. I'm Scottish. Though. I'm Scottish.
You're Scottish now.
My mum's got a Scottish accent. So whatever.
I mean, if we want to talk about ancestors, like, have you actually looked into what humanity as a whole has eaten for the vast majority of its runtime?
Yeah, absolutely. We're opportunistic eaters. We eat whatever we can, and we have some adaptations to it. Yeah, we are.
We actually have clear evidence what we have eaten for at least 1,000,000 years. We were apex predators. Okay?
No, we're not. We don't have. I can even link you a fucking graphic for this. Jesus Christ!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
The problem. There's a lot of misinformation about the history when it comes to veganism. Like,
I know. Fucking picture.
A lot of misinformation about it. A lot of vegans promote misinformation, and I think you're in the misinformation vegan bubble and you don't even realise it.
Yeah, heavily.
Facial muscles in herbivores well developed, and carnivores reduced to allow wide mouth gape. And humans well developed, just like herbivores. Jaw type expanded angle, and carnivores angle not expanded. And humans.
Let me ask you a question.
Teeth canines, dull and short or long for defense or none. And herbivores.
Oh my god!
Have you looked at your canines? Have you looked at your fucking nails on your teeth?
Stop! Oh my god! That's not how evolution works, by the way.
I know all about how evolution works.
Yeah, apparently you don't.
Go on, prove me wrong.
I can prove you wrong. Let me speak. Okay? So, the reason why this point about we don't have any sharp, pointy teeth, though, is fucking bullshit, is because we have evolved to use our brains in order to hunt strategically and have weapons, okay? We manufactured weapons, long, pointy spears, okay, which we used to hunt these megafauna, right? Okay? So that we didn't have an evolved need to have sharp, pointy teeth like lions, okay? So there was no selection pressure on us, like jumping into these animals with our mouths open. Okay? So that point goes out the window straight. Now, in terms of actual evidence that we have been hunting for millions of years and our apex predators, or our ancestors were apex predators, we actually have analyzed the isotopes in bones of human remains around the world, okay? And they show us clearly what kind of food we have eaten, and was 70% meat, okay? And yeah, so if you want to talk about, my ancestors this, my ancestors that, yeah, the ancestors of humanity actually are mostly meat eaters, okay, for at least 2,000,000 years. So
can I bring up another point as well about the agricultural revolution?
I want to respond to what you just said, though.
I'll let you respond.
What is the common ancestor of all humans and other mammals? Because humans are mammals, right?
Yeah, sure.
So what did it look like, the common ancestor? Where did it live?
Wasn't it a mouse of some sort?
No, He means apes, as some kind of ape, right?
Well, you can go further back than that because I said mammals, and the hominid family is extremely recent. You know, I'm going way back further along the tree.
Yeah, sure. At some point in the past, we were also, I think, frugivores. I think 5 million years ago or something.
Yeah, so
but
these
guess what?
these canines and incisors and claws are not found in our entire lineage all the way back to eukaryotes.
Yes. So fucking what? What kind of point are you making now?
You're saying we're apex predators, but we don't have any of the evolution in our entire lineage that they have.
I have already explained why we don't have these sharp, pointy teeth and these claws. We don't need them. We have brains. We can manufacture weapons.
So it never evolved. Did we evolve to process the game that we catch?
Yeah, our stomach acidity is actually very similar to many carnivorous animals, actually. Yeah.
Can we synthesize our own vitamin C?
Our own what?
Vitamin C.
Venom C?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Oh yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I would have to look into this. I'm not sure about that particular point, but anyway.
Hope you're not on a carnivore diet then, because you'd have to supplement that.
We're not dietary.
Wait, you're jumping to a different point. You're talking about whether or not we're carnivores in a sort of physiological or ancestral sense, and now you're jumping to whether or not we have a vitamin C deficiency on a carnivore, right? First of all,
our livers cannot produce vitamin C. Cats
can
do that.
Yeah, but we're not cats.
That's why we can't do it.
Yeah, but I never claimed that we're fucking cats.
Yeah, but he never said. Shield never said our diet was 100% meat. He said 70% meat.
Yeah, it was majority meat.
Yes. So
and also we're not cats. Just because we're carnivorous animals doesn't mean that we're just like every other carnivorous animal. Did you know that? Do you know the hagfish?
Yep.
That is a carnivorous animal. It doesn't have any sharp, pointy teeth, does it? It doesn't have any claws, so apparently it cannot be a carnivore. That's your logic destroyed right there.
That's a fish. They don't have arms, bro.
Yeah, but it's carnivorous. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And we're human beings.
Are we going to talk about spiders next? Spiders don't have claws and teeth either. Is that what we're going to do?
The thing is, when you talk about other animals and mammals, comparing us to them, it's a bit pointless because we're very unique. Okay, because we are our evolution has been changed by our social structure. Individually, in the wild, humans would perish. We're weak. We're puny. We don't have big fangs and claws. We don't have fur to protect us. Okay.
When did we become unique? How far back?
I'm not an expert on that, am I? I'm not an evolutionary psychologist or biologist, but we are. It doesn't matter when, right? Is it 100? Is it 100,000? Is it 1 million? It doesn't matter. But we were unique.
From humans to Neanderthals, the common ancestor between humans and Neanderthals is about 250,000 years as an estimation.
Okay.
So that's not enough time for any serious evolutionary adaptation to take place.
Yes, it is actually. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. Evolution can actually work really fast. It's been proven. That's been proven with those fox studies in foxes.
And also, I said millions of years, 2 million, at least 2 million years. So yeah, evolution definitely, for that long time span, leaves its mark. Okay.
So everything you're saying here also applies to Neanderthals, just to make this clear. Like you think that? Strike at future position.
I don't see the point you're making right now, to be honest.
Someone asks a question, you answer it usually.
Okay. Well, what was the question again?
All of these adaptations that you are suggesting have occurred for humans, did they also occur for Neanderthals, our closest ancestor?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm not a paleontologist or something, right?
Is it the theory that we outcompeted in fan rules because we had better soil?
Yeah. I
We
think
ate meats and it developed our brains better. That's one theory out there.
Well,
I'm not saying that's true or not. Speculation.
Mixed with them. Like I've done, DNA tests. I've got like 40% Neanderthal haploid groups, whatever. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
bred with
Okay.
them.
That might be true, but what has this to do with the topic of whether or not we're carnivores or not ancestrally? Because you brought this up.
You're saying that there's there's a lot of adaptation to changes in diet. It's quite a big ask to cope with it. And over the course of 250,000 years, you only have so many generations available for that selection to occur. And there can't really be much morphological or metabolic change can occur.
Okay, no, stop. There's basically two different versions of theory of evolution.
Punctuated equilibrium.
Yeah, whatever. There's the rapid one. Like basically, there's equilibrium. Things stay the same for a long time, and things can rapidly change. And there's the slow, gradual one, basically, right? Because I read popular science books and I don't remember all this stuff, but I remember the concept. So evolution can change really fast.
With Stephen Jay Gould and
it can change really fast. Yeah, it can change really fast. So that's not necessarily so what you're claiming.
Right? Yeah. Also, why are you talking about Neanderthals? I mean, we're talking about human beings, and I told you
about
that
evolution. So bringing up our analog in the hominid family that's closest, it can have some pertinence. Come on.
Right, what did that pertinence? Though?
Yeah. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It can be interesting, but
Neanderthals, you strip away 250,000 years, or most recent 250,000 years. I'm trying to figure out if that would matter.
Yeah, maybe not. The fact remains, though, that for millions of years, humans have been eating meat. Have been eating meat for at least 2 million years. Okay, that is the science that we have on this, and that has an impact on us. Okay, and that's all I'm saying. And the vast majority of our diet was meat based. 70%, at least.
Right, can I just ask you some questions out of curiosity? Because I just want to know your stances. What do you think about putting pets on the vegan diet?
For cats, that's pretty much impossible.
Right. So, what do you think of vegans who've killed their cats doing that?
It's pretty fucked up. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that has actually happened recently with some prominent vegans, but look into this.
I think there are some weird foods being made by companies, but there's not really enough time to know what effect that has on these fucking animals.
And the proteins, a lot of proteins that let's go back to the thing is, a lot of proteins, if we substituted them with vegetables, right, and crops, whatever, okay, you'd have to produce far more vegetables and crops to substitute it, because meats are very protein dense and nutrient dense.
Well, enough protein for like fucking 15 billion people, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but if more people went into a vegan diet and a vegetarian diet, you would have to cultivate more land.
No, we would be able to stop. We'd be able to just stop feeding it all to cows and give it to people instead.
But again, a lot of crop production we have has byproducts that we can't use. The products that we do use.
Check.
Yeah, that study I've already debunked on my channel, or at least critiqued on my channel.
He's debunked everything, man. We have to let everyone know.
Right. So so think tank studies that come from the Institute for the Study of War, they're valid, right?
We on about that's basically CIA and AD dog shit.
Yeah. So the thing is, so there's examples of groups of people doing studies, and they're just completely wrong due to ideological. Right?
I've already explained the reasoning for this. It totally makes sense. I wouldn't expect anything else. You stop feeding it to the fucking cows and the pigs and the chickens, and you just give it to people instead.
Yeah, but okay. So so unedible crop that we can't eat, you just suddenly give it to.
Stop growing them. Grow actual food instead. Then.
Yeah,
what edible crops can we not eat?
So you have to grow more.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Okay. So I actually covered literally all of this in my documentary, if you actually bothered to watch it.
After I saw those big gaffes when I was like clicking through it, like I don't have high hopes. Like you still haven't even admitted that sauerkraut contains K2 and that we can endogenously synthesize
we
it
haven't
ourselves.
even talked about the K2 thing. There are actually two types of K2.
Yeah, we synthesize K2 from K1. I think there's way more than two types of K2. I think you meant to say two types of K there.
Anyway, let's stick to one topic. So the thing about why crop agriculture would actually increase in a vegan scenario, and I explained this in my documentary, is because we would have to replace all of that animal nutrition in such a scenario. And we know that animal foods contribute nutritionally to a lot of nutrients, okay? And this is not going to be filled up. This nutritional gap is not going to be filled up with just the edible portion of the animal feed, which is mostly grains and some soybean meal, which in order to make it even edible, we would have to further process it, right? But if you actually look into the nutrients that the human edible animal feed contains, it is not going to be sufficient to fill up the nutrient gaps that we would have when we get rid of all animal foods, okay? So that's number one. And we have actually some empirics on that attempts to model that, okay? I've already shown this in my documentary. So, but just the logic of this, just feeding it to the humans, yeah, that's a very simplistic story, right? But it's not reality, okay? If we get rid of animal agriculture, there is a nutritional gap, a massive nutritional gap that would have to be filled. And that's fact.
So, okay, so I used to believe this. I used to believe this up until recently. Okay, so basically, you can produce more calories of food by just growing vegetables instead of raising meat. Okay, I used to believe that. I fell for that hook, line, center. That was a lie I read in the 80s in a kid's book. Is it Captain Eco by Jonathan from Porritt? Right, I had that book as a kid. Okay, I believed that, but that's actually not true, because food is just not calories. You do know that it's nutrients. Okay, because like
yeah,
a
we've talked about nutrients extensively.
Yeah, a plate of Skittles is calories. So yeah, there's a lot of vegan misinformation out there. A lot of lies.
And the poor Nemesis study that you want to reference exactly makes this mistake that it doesn't really consider nutrition. It looks at...
it's implied that the nutrition capacity of the land is far greater than what we currently get out of it, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but cows shit and fart a lot of the time, and those molecules are obviously not just made out of fucking carbohydrates. There's fucking nitrogen, there's phosphorus.
And
these are the elementary constituents of all of these nutrients you're talking about, and cows discard them just like we do.
They put they put them back into the soil to enrich the soil with nutrients,
which they have to do because it would just be wasted otherwise.
Yeah, and
eventually the nutrition would be gone. We would deplete the whole earth. We'd be back before the Hafer process.
The earth is depleted by monocropping, not by cows shitting on grassland. Okay, and if you want to get into the topic of
the earth is depleted if we don't have a Haber process. You're German, you should know this.
Yeah, the earth is depleted by freaking monocropping. But anyway, if we want to talk about nutrients being wasted, let me post this paper here, which is really good. Right, the global nutrient loss from food waste. Okay, food waste is mainly plant-based foods. Okay, there are a lot of nutrients that are wasted because at the production and at the consumer and transportation level, a lot of plant-based foods are wasted. Okay, so what do we say about that? To me, that is inefficient. Actually, not actually feeding cows byproducts and grass. Okay, which they turn into valuable, bioavailable nutrition that is actually efficient. And even grain-fed cows, by the way, even grain-fed cows, they give us almost twice the amount of protein than they consume in production when we correct for protein quality. Okay? So, yeah, but you want to say, oh, this is so inefficient because calories are lost or whatever, and trophic levels, though. Yeah, this is not good enough, my friend. I actually explained all of this in my documentary, but you never bothered to actually watch it.
You know that we can mine all of these minerals and we can seed the earth with it as much as we want, and we can grow whatever we want on all of the land, and we don't do it because it's not profitable, because people buy meat instead.
No.
Yeah, meat is the source of all evil, I know. We can actually synthesize all the nutrients ourselves, and we can actually live on air, right? Jesus.
Well, I already mentioned the Haber process, which explains how we managed to finally renew the nitrogen that we're depleting.
Yeah, the Haber process is actually very destructive and fossil fuel intensive, but okay.
Without it, we would be all starving to death because the carrying capacity of the Earth would be cut in half at least.
Yeah, okay.
If it's fossil fuel, if it's fossil fuel intensive, how's it sustainable?
He just wants us all to starve. That's it. That's what the
No.
strategy is here.
If it's no, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. If it's fossil fuel intensive, the process, how's it sustainable?
So we all starve.
So fossil fuels are going to run out. But if what you're saying is true, it will not be able to. If it's true, but it's not be able to be done for it.
Like every time one of these warehouses explodes, you know, like that one that exploded in, where was it, Lebanon? That was created with the Haber process. It was fucking tons of that shit synthesized.
Okay, but I don't think you're not I'm asking you, but is it sustainable? This process? That's what I'm asking you. If it's fossil fuel intensive, it's not sustainable.
It's just basic chemistry, yo.
Okay.
So you're not only a nutrition expert, but also a chemistry expert. Okay.
No, this is basic chemistry I'm talking about right now.
Let me ask you a question. Is this Haber process dependent on mined phosphorus?
No.
No?
No.
So we don't use
nitrogen. It's nitrogen fixing.
And so we don't use
It uses ammonia and lots of electricity.
And how's that ammonia made? Because I'm not an expert on chemistry, but I think phosphorus is in the process of this. So, but you're the expert in chemistry, so tell me.
Well, it's what happens when there's a lightning strike. Like that was how a lot of the ammonia was synthesized before we did this. Like that was a non-trivial amount of all the synthesis of ammonia that happened on Earth before we started just mass producing it. It's just energy and nitrogen and hydrogen catalyzed. Right?
Okay.
So
wait.
So how is it not renewable? It's literally just an infinitely repeating cycle that you can just keep doing if you have an atmosphere. Right?
So I thought. Oh god, never mind.
Nitrogen is like 80% of the air we breathe. Hydrogen is 1/3 or 2/3 of water that is in the sea. So with air and sea, which is basically everything that there is that we have and have ever had, we can create food if we do chemistry.
So
right?
I just want to ask his opinion on something. Can I ask your opinion on something? So marginal land, let's forget about feeding them crops, cattle. There's marginal land, okay, can't be used for anything else, and we can grass-feed cattle on that. Should that be stopped, or should it be allowed? Because that's a niche that can only be used for cattle, right? So should that be allowed, yes or no?
I think cows should be just left alone and allowed to just eat whatever they want that they find. Like we should just leave them there and let them do it. We shouldn't interfere.
Right. So you're against grass-fed cow ranching then? Just letting them just eat that?
I just don't think we should kill them. That's it. Like, I'm fine with cows being there and eating the grass. I just don't think we should kill them afterwards. Seems unnecessary.
Right, so even though, all right, okay.
But killing quadrillions of other animals in crop agriculture, that's okay. That's
No.
okay.
No, everything we can do up until the point where we have, Star Trek matter replicators, and we're a Type 2 civilization, and we can control the fucking sea and storms. Like, until that point, we should try and minimize it as much as possible, and that's why a lot of people are vegans. Or
The vegan diet doesn't minimize it; it causes more, especially when it's insects. Insects, because when you kill the insects, yes, it's pesticides kill insects, loads of them, and it starves birds and other animals to death.
You do everything that vegans do. You just take extra steps. You decide to grow more stuff, set up these factories, put cows in it, take away the babies.
No, because you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to raise cattle. You don't have to do that to raise.
Just stop doing it then. See what happens.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Stop.
Okay. You stop.
I agree. You don't need to do it. I think
okay. So grass. All right. Grass feed it. You're against grass feeding cattle. So.
Well, I think it's better if we could do that for every cow, but I'm the one that actually cares about their welfare because I don't eat them.
Okay.
Yeah, but what about the wild animals that get killed in crop agriculture? I've linked a Nature article that shows that in terms of from a global perspective, deforestation is mainly due to plant foods.
Yeah, and then it all gets fed to cows and pigs and chickens, and it's pointless.
No. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Let me speak for 1 second.
Yes.
This study already accounts for the feed crops, and it still shows that plant foods are the most destructive ones. Okay?
Yeah, well, I'll stop eating, and I'll just let you have the cows eat. How about that? I'll just die. What do you want?
Okay. So, we're pointing out the meat-eating diet is less destructive to sustainable, and you're hand-waving it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you felt your vegan diet fails on the ethical position of sustainability.
Yeah,
right? I'm all for harm reduction. Yeah, minimal harm.
Nothing about cows then. Just have like 50 cows scattered around.
Eat eggs. We need to eat eggs.
Go through them all.
Eat eggs.
You think that's better?
I know. So there's a lot of byproducts from, especially in the UK. I've noticed this. Like people won't eat offal, right? And they turn their nose up at it. Offal, like liver.
All right. Yeah.
Offal, kidneys. People won't eat that, and that's wasted. Okay, people just won't eat it, and that's a very important source of food. Okay, especially for iron. And I've actually had iron. I was low on iron, and I ate supplements, and I couldn't shit. So I just switched over to liver. It's not a substitute, right?
Let me ask you something. So let's say there was a steak that had just one animal death in it, right? Or I don't know. Let's make it 1 or 5, right? Versus an apple that caused 10,000 animal deaths. Which would you choose?
Depends on the presence of complex nervous systems, synapses, pain receptors.
Let's say 9,000 insects and maybe 1,000 rodents or something. And with the steak, it's just the cow and maybe some insects that the cow tramples. Which would you choose?
I don't know how to quantify that suffering.
So, what? So
you didn't know to quantify the suffering.
Like you've made up numbers, and I'm trying to
I'm
trying to trade them off and trade them off against each other, and I don't know how I would quantify. Like you might as well just say what's worth what has the greater capacity for suffering and well-being. 1 cow or 5 chickens, or 1 human and 100 pigs. It's weird. It's a weird question.
Okay. Let's just ask from a sustainability perspective.
Like you're doing a trolley problem basically, and it's hard. I don't know what.
Okay, let's just say from a sustainability perspective, right? Okay. So which would you choose then, from a sustainability perspective, from a biodiversity perspective?
I already do the apple every time, so.
So the apple that actually kills more is what you would choose.
Remember, this is not actually what's going on. What's actually going on is that
answer the question. I want to see. You're not answering questions again. This
It's
is
a
why
weird
I'm.
question. Like, it's barely.
Okay, it's an analogy.
Still
It's
working
an,
on the last
it's,
one.
it's an analogy.
I want to see if you're principled. I want to see if you're
Well, I'm a
principled.
vegan. That's what that is.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Let me ask the question then. Okay. Hypothetical scenario. Okay. If eating steak causes less suffering and less deaths, would you eat it over the apple that causes more? Hypothetically.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna just create a steak with a matter transformer. I'm gonna create an apple with a matter transformer from Star Trek. And if you eat that steak, I'm gonna
Okay. Let me ask the question again. Let me ask the question. Let me ask the question again. You live in you're too scared to kill yourself. You want to live. You live in a sci-fi dystopian future with an evil overlord. Okay. He has this machine with two choices of food that says this choice of food causes this amount of suffering, and this one causes more suffering. Right.
Yeah, you pull the lever on the trolley that causes the least suffering.
Okay. So if eating steak causes less suffering and less animal death, you should eat the steak then, shouldn't you?
If it causes less suffering, then yeah, you should.
Okay, thanks. All right, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, a simple yes or no.
It's an easy question for anyone.
So then
vegan. Vegans already make this, and then they stand by it with their actions.
Yeah, but no, they don't. The problem is vegans are in denial about the sustainability and the animal suffering that their diet causes.
Exactly.
Okay? Insects. Let's look at insects. You can't just go, oh yeah, the insects are less sentient. They're not as valuable as mammals when it comes to suffering. Not valuable. They suffer less, right? Insects feed other animals like birds and mammals. So killing them with pesticides has a knock-on effect and unintended consequences that causes suffering. But it is actually intended because you know about it, right? Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
This is why I advocate just having all these cows in warehouses and just feeding them soy, en masse, just wasting the.
Yeah, but there's many. There's like Garland Farms. He's against grain-fed cattle. He wants grass-fed cattle, right? This is a false dichotomy of like evil, destructive factory farming and good environmental sustainable veganism. It's not like that. Okay.
If you don't think that farming is a unique evil, you're kind of on the fringes. Like even meat, this bullet.
Yeah, it's a unique evil. Veganism diet that kills quadrillions of insects and rodents and birds. That's not evil. That destroys the environment. That's evil. Then, if one is evil, the other is evil, right? And I'm saying you're offering this false dichotomy of factory farming. I'm not commenting how eating cattle is not just getting it from factory farms. Right, there's
90+% of our beef production here in the West, absolutely. So this is why I keep talking about it, because this is what there is to talk about. Anything else, it's like, oh, do you care about eating roadkill on the side of the road? Who cares? That's not what anyone's doing.
What? You're hand waving away insect deaths and rodent deaths, and you're hand waving away environmental damage.
No, that's what you're doing. You're the one that insists on even more land gets used to produce.
No, I'm not insisting. I'm not because your vegan diet actually uses more land. It destroys more land.
I've opted out of all of the products.
You're still part of the capitalist system, and there are destructive ways meat gets raised and used for profits in the capitalist system. But so there is for vegan food as well, and it's actually even worse, and it's less sustainable.
You know that when you collectivize agriculture, the first thing they do is get their plant production in order, and animal production is just a total secondary to that. Why do you think that is? Yeah.
Why do you think it is?
When they did that in China, when they did that in the USSR, when they did that in Cambodia,
when
they did it in Africa, like
Burkina
Faso, all of these efficient, effective collectivization programs.
That led to famine. Yeah, great efficiency.
Okay, so the Soviet Union is vegan. The Soviet Union was vegan then.
They raced increased the yields the most effective way they could as quickly as possible.
They didn't need the Soviet Union. They didn't need the Soviet Union.
Their land to produce plants.
What they didn't meet in the Soviet Union then. That's a new one. So the Soviet Union is vegan.
Yeah, and Mao China also was vegan.
I don't know. They obviously ain't meeting the Soviet Union. I don't know what you're trying to explain. So the Soviet Union was a success because they were vegan or vegetarians.
Peasants that lived in these rapidly developing economies in the 50s and 60s and find out what their diets actually were, because you sound close.
They probably didn't enjoy it. They probably didn't enjoy it. As soon as they got the chance to eat meat, they probably right?
You're right, because it's a luxury because only the rich can afford it. Because
Only the rich can afford it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where it's
Do
been
you know
for
about
most of human
do you know
history.
about the agricultural revolution caused? It caused a massive underclass, and we was able to feed more people, but we kept them on malnourishment levels, and that's why people
I
were
already mentioned
stunted.
this at the
And
start.
yes, and they only got the normal growth rates back
You say you're
with the
Scottish, but
industrial revolution.
I kind of don't believe it. See, the English,
Yeah,
what
because
they
I don't
did
like.
was they left the fucking Irish to starve and
But,
eat nothing but
are you,
potatoes. They
are you
left the
telling me about the
Scots.
land clearances as well? Are you
They
telling me about the land clearances as
They
well?
left
Are
the
you telling?
Scots to eat
Yeah,
nothing but oats while they ate all of the
yeah.
fucking meat. They imported it to England. They concentrated it into
So
the Imperial core because it
okay.
is cheaper and easier to produce, and you can produce it anywhere. Meat is a
Hasn't
luxury.
it's not a luxury. It's a
It's
necessity.
labor intensive and it's capital
It's a
intensive.
necessity.
It's not an efficient
So
use of
eggs.
resources.
Why does
Everyone
everyone in the
knows
third world
this.
eat eggs? Why does everyone in the third world
Everyone
eat eggs? Why
knows
does
this.
everyone in the third world eat eggs? No, they don't know it. Why does everyone in the third world eat eggs? Why does everyone in the third world eat eggs? Why?
We're gamers that play Total War, right? When you set up food production in your fucking empire, you're making grain,
We're avoiding questions
bread. Bread.
Yeah, but you can't eat bread alone.
You
can't
set
eat
up
bread
the
alone.
pig farms later when you've got like 10 cities. You're just going for bread. Rice.
Why is eggs
You
popular in the third world?
irrigate
Why
land
do
to farm.
people raise chickens? Why do people raise chickens? I know people in Pakistan. I talk to people in Pakistan. Why do they raise chickens? 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 Answer that. Why do they raise chickens in the third world? Why do they eat eggs? Why do they eat
You asked
chicken?
about 10 questions there.
No, it's the same question over and over again. Why do they eat eggs? Why do they eat eggs? Please answer the question.
I don't know. Asking something 10 times kind of makes me forget what you asked.
He asked why do people in the third world raise chickens, and not just chickens, by the way. There are millions of pastoralists. I've been quiet for some time. There are millions of pastoralists and smallholder farmers in the third world and the global south that have livestock. Why do they do that?
They make the most of everything they can because they're on the fucking edge of poverty.
Yeah,
they have backyard chicken coops so they can feed their rotten onion skins to it, so it's just totally wasted.
Can I say the problem with you live in the first world and you're relatively privileged. I don't know about your status in society, but you live in a first world country. We're relatively privileged, and you're actually detached from realities of the food system that we live off of.
I'm the vegan, right? That's
You've got these weird abstract ideas.
Slaughterhouse food. I'm the one that actually
You've got these weird abstract ideas. You've got weird abstract
ideas. You've probably
ideas.
not watched it. If you watched carbon dioxide poisoning in this country, you'd be sick. If you watched how chickens are fucking raised in big coops, where they peck each other's anuses open and then they just lie and fucking the organs fall out and they rot in puddles.
Non sequitur.
You're not aware of any of this.
I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it.
Are you aware that farmers hold the cervix open by fisting cows' anuses so they can insert the rod that contains the bull semen that they ejaculate out of the bull? Are you aware of this?
Pause.
I don't think you're aware of this. Cows get raped so that they can produce. So there's milk for you. Like, you don't know this. You don't care. I didn't tell you.
Yeah, can I talk? Jesus fucking Christ! Can I talk now?
This is not on TV and the ads. Like, you don't know it.
Can I talk?
You have to learn this in your own time, which is what vegans do.
Okay. This is exactly why I was already... Because I can already smell when an arrogant vegan is talking, okay?
No, we're done here then? Is that
it? No, we're not done here, because you haven't actually answered any questions.
What else do you have?
No, you... Listen.
Because so far you've controverted all of the medical literature, all of the bullets that get bitten by Carnage.
This is why I was so pissed off the entire time.
Like, calm down. Calm down. It's okay. I actually managed. We won now. We won. I jumped in. We won now. Thanks to me. He tagged me in. We won the debate.
Not to bite any of the bullets.
No.
Like, see if this was this would have been totally different. Like, you
if it was one of the great one, me, I would have won.
You're daring each other not to bite the bullets that everyone always bites, so the conversation is ridiculous.
We won. I won. The thing is, so basically, people in the third world don't need to eat, right? Okay, you act touch reality. You're a privileged hipster living in the first world. and you've been brainwashed by crappy vegan documentaries that are sentimental and manipulative, right? So when it comes to this subject, you're on the level of thinking of an average pro-Ukraine person. You've got no critical thinking skills. You're just thinking in emotions, right? Okay, I'm sorry to say.
I find it funny, he watches these vegan documentaries, and he skims through my documentary, which challenges this type of propaganda. He's not paying attention.
Errors non-stop. Like the fact you still haven't admitted, which is extremely telling, that sauerkraut contains K2, which is really embarrassing. You still haven't admitted that carrots.
Why the fuck should I?
Like,
Carrots contain that.
I'm from the UK. They contain beta carotene, which we then synthesize into vitamin A, so it's a source of vitamin A.
Yeah, but the bioavailability of that is lower than retinol.
Every child here knows this because they hear the old fucking.
He doesn't let me speak. He doesn't let me speak.
Let's wrap this up. Let's stop.
Are you going to correct the video? You need to correct the video.
I think we're at an impasse here. Okay, so okay. I don't know what else there is to say. Like, people don't need to eat eggs, right? Okay, people in the third world will just die off not eating eggs because that's the only way to sustain themselves.
Yeah. Already.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, this is beta carotene is less bioavailable than retinol from animal products, so you don't give a shit about that. Right.
I just give a shit about the fact that your video was wrong and that you don't even admit it. That's really funny.
Okay. It wasn't. It actually wasn't.
Do I need to get the ingredients up on the jar in front of me, or are you going to make me do that?
Okay. So when you
forged, just like all of the medical literature, the jar is.
Can I just talk? I just want to talk to you personally.
Printed out the label.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say something. When you start having ill effects and you start suffering, I do hope you give this diet up and you don't double down due to stubbornness.
You're an idiot. You're on about 10 different pills, bro.
Look how he calls you an idiot.
Yeah, being rude. Can you mute him, Alex? Because I want. Can you just mute him?
I'm leaving.
All right, just get out of here. You can't have a civil conversation. Yeah, he's an idiot. Okay, so I do really hope that when he's honest, when he's starving and suffering, that he's honest about it and makes a video about why he's giving up veganism. That's all I've got to say about that. He lost because when we start talking about eggs and people in the third world and things they need to eat, he that's when he started deflecting like hard and started speaking over.
He deflected the whole time. That's why I was angry. He deflected the whole fucking time. He's like the non sequiturs, straw man.
Yes,
dish galloping. That is the reason why I was so angry, right? And
you was letting him lead you about the nose a little bit.
No, I wasn't actually. I was crushing him the whole entire time. He wasn't answering any questions. He wasn't even understanding the questions.
Yeah, but he lost. But I was pinning down to certain points and questions, and he lost. Right? Not study. He was jumping to study. The mistake was jumping to studies. And the question, can you name a person who's lived a vegan diet? A bad question. It allows them to dodge and deflect. It's a very hard question and complicated question to answer, right? A better question is, what do you say about the kids that died from the vegan diet?
I was actually going to get to that.
Yes, I brought that up a little bit and he avoided that. But yeah, so he's from a privileged first world country. People in the third world need to eat eggs. They need to eat chickens. They've got very limited sources of protein. They need everything they can get. And you can't explain how that's going to be substituted. And it can't be substituted anyway. Right?
Yeah, and also like the amount of animal deaths that he just hand waves away. It's just ridiculous. And he also made all kinds of faulty claims and all kinds of all kinds of non sequiturs.
Yes.
He doesn't know what to appeal to authority is.
Yes, exactly. And also, can I say one thing about the? I've seen a lot of them. I've seen both sides. I've seen what you've posted. This anti-vegan stuff's new to me. It's recent to me, but I've seen all these documentaries, and they've got this sentimental music, right? And they're very manipulative. And they show the most extreme stuff, and a lot of it they show out of context in a very dishonest way, anyway, right? So he's saying, "Oh yeah, you've never seen this manipulative, sentimental propaganda."
Yeah,
right?
We've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I used to believe the vegan lies. I used to believe all this stuff, all the propaganda, and it's very effective, unfortunately. Okay, and he got stubborn true believers like him cling on to it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I even like said, look, there are things to improve in animal agriculture. I totally agree with that, even, Ryan.
Yeah, and it's a false dichotomy. We live under capitalism, right? There's externalities it gets passed on to society by the produce of all sorts of, right? Meat, vegetables, clothes, computers, right? And he's just focusing on meat, and he exaggerates the problems of meat, and actually it's only like cause for meat, and it'll be sold by vegetables, which is nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, I think he got really crushed really badly.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he talked over me like 10 million times or something.
Yeah.
And it was really annoying.
Yes, yeah. But I didn't lose my temper at him. So I kept it. So anyway, Alex, we might as well stop recording now. I think we're done.